What is up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, January 13th, 2020. I hope you're doing well. Bitcoin taking off right now, 5%. I'm being sarcastic, everybody. I'm being sarcastic. I added a little clickbait to the video. I'm trying to get some people in here. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to just do a quick video before I wrap up the day. It's getting late over here on the East Coast, but wanted to talk about Bitcoin, what's going on with Bitcoin and maybe some other cryptos. It's always fun on Twitter when things are moving a little bit. You look at the chart, on the daily chart zoomed out, it doesn't look like much is happening, but we're at a really critical area, and that's why I wanted to do a quick video. Let me try and adjust my mic a little bit here. It's all screwed up. So let's jump right into the video. I don't want to waste your time, especially replay viewers. Want to just kind of talk about what's going on. So first off, for zoomed out context, you can see I have two upper trend lines. So everybody's trend lines are different in terms of, I guess, any pattern really. And this is something I've always kind of dealt with myself when doing my own trend lines for patterns. There's a kind of a fine line between if you're gonna draw a trend line, at the wick of a candle, or if you're gonna draw it at maybe over here where you see the close of a candle. Right. So, hold on one second. The close or the open of a candle. So I debate that myself. Okay. And I'm back and forth, honestly. I'm just going to throw that out there. But this really relevant falling wedge that everybody's tracking on Bitcoin, I wanted to do two trend lines. So I kind of have two trend lines where we have the wicks, right? The swing highs. And then we have where it's closing, opening of these candles. And this is the daily chart. And what I think is probably the most relevant thing is when you're drawing trend lines, you're kind of taking the average. It's never going to look perfect, right? But you're taking the average of all these swing highs and you're tracking that trend line down, right? So you're tracking it down the trend and you're taking the average of all these swing highs. And you can see the average. Like, if we look at this trend line right here, this doesn't look perfect, right? And in my opinion, that's okay. Nothing is perfect when you're charting. But we get this general trend of Bitcoin. Now, the most relevant thing, if I zoom in on the screen right now, is this. Zooming in, we have Bitcoin. I tweeted this a little bit ago. Bitcoin is hovering in between the 200 moving average, this red line up here, and the 50 moving average down here. We're hovering right in between those two really key areas on the daily chart in terms of at least how I do my technical analysis. But we've broken these two trend lines, these upper trend lines, whether you're going, the candles where they're opening, closing, or where we're, getting a swing high and kind of like this daily wick, right? So we broke both of those trend lines. And we broke the first one around 4 or 5 days ago. So right now we're in the middle of breaking this second one. So this is it's a small move for Bitcoin, 5% move, but it's kind of relevant, right? It's kind of a key move for Bitcoin instead of just trading sideways, maybe like we did down here for forever. So Bitcoin's at like a really interesting point right now in terms of what it might do next. I want to throw this out there. Every time Bitcoin breaks through the 50 moving average, this blue line, right? It comes back down. Thanks for coming by, everybody. If you're in the live chat, hit that like. I just want to give a shout out to Ernie Segura in the chat, my father-in-law. I caught him. I saw him in there. Wanted to say what's up. So when we're visiting the 50 moving average, that is the key move. That is the key play for me. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. That's what I'm watching right now. I know there's a lot of people that are going to disagree and call me bearish because I'm anticipating 12% at this point, right? Bitcoin can keep going up, but right at this point, 12% to the downside. I'm anticipating that. If Bitcoin keeps going up, right, and then all of a sudden we're testing $9,000, I will be anticipating an 18% pullback to the 50 moving average. It's the biggest factor in terms of Bitcoin, a true reversal and a reversal into a bullish trend. We want to see support at the 50 moving average, and after overextension, we want to see it come back down and consolidate at the 50 moving average. That's one of the biggest things I'm going to be watching. So I like that we're just kind of continuing to, pull away from the 50 moving average. Right now, we're 15% overextended. from the 50 moving average. I like that, right? And when we start getting into the 20s, 20% overextended, and now we're getting close to $9,000, 20%, 25%, 30% overextension from the 50 moving average. If Bitcoin did continue there, that would probably be the picture perfect move for Bitcoin, because what it does is it gives Bitcoin room and overextension from these trend lines. And those are the second most relevant areas for Bitcoin besides this 50 moving average. So we want that overextension, and we want it to be strong so that we have room to kind of come back down and test these areas. Because believe me, everybody, Bitcoin will come back down and test these areas. I'm like 90% certain that that's going to happen. Right now, it's always a question of, well, is this going to be a strong run, or is this just a 5% Monday night for Bitcoin? And that's it, right? So that's what I'm watching. I'm anticipating these things. I want to see if Bitcoin continues a run. It would be awesome to test this 200 moving average. We haven't been there since November, the beginning of November, and that was when we were breaking back down and through it, right? And that was shortly after we had the 50 moving average cross below the 200 moving average. So there's a way different atmosphere right now for Bitcoin on these charts, and it's a whole new environment. It looks way healthier than it did back in November. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Bitcoin to see how high it goes right now. Who knows how this daily candle will close? Who knows how tomorrow will go? Maybe we're going to get very quick resistance here at the upper trend line that we talked about, right? And then maybe tomorrow we come back down and we're below it, and then we're trading sideways, and that could be ugly, right? That could show resistance for Bitcoin. And it would be a common trend if the chart played out like that. If you just zoom out on this falling wedge here, that's what it just keeps doing, right? It gets to a certain point, people are hype, trade sideways a little, comes down, and we create a new lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, right? So please be ready for that. Be ready for immediate resistance in the next 24 hours, and we're kind of maybe trading sideways a little. People are bullish that we're going to break 8,000 again, and then we're on our way back down to a lower low, and we're in January, we're in February, and we're at like 5,500. If that's not on the back of your mind, you're crazy. It's on the back of my mind. I don't know how you can't anticipate every scenario and accumulate Bitcoin. There's got to be so much fear for people that are just, they're set that Bitcoin's going to do only one certain thing, and they think it's just going to go up. There has to be a lot of fear, because if you're not kind of anticipating every move possible, meaning the downside, then you're going to overextend the amount of fiat that you're investing in Bitcoin, and you won't have the necessary funds to buy Bitcoin when it's cheap in the scenarios where it's dropping. So just be careful out there in terms of how you're accumulating Bitcoin. I'm just going to say that. I don't give financial advice on this channel, but I think it's safe for me to say be careful out there, and also don't listen to YouTuber financial advice. I'm just sharing the data with you, and these are my thoughts. Now, in terms of if we're zooming in on the daily chart, there are some other things happening right now besides the fact that January 6th, 7 days ago, we broke the 50 moving average, right? We made a nice move above there. And besides the fact that we're approaching this 200 moving average, and besides the fact that we broke this upper trend line today, the other thing that's interesting for Bitcoin right now is this, and we've been tracking this on the channel. A couple things, actually. Number one, this small inverse head and shoulders, right? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, hit the neckline, resistance to the neckline, came back up, broke the neckline. We talked about this in a video when it happened, and we said, what was our target? Our target was literally right here, like $8,600. And look where we are, everybody. We're at our target. So I just want to throw that out there. We hit a target on this inverse head and shoulders. What happens at targets? Now that we're at the target, now we can really see how strong Bitcoin is, because at a pattern target, especially like this one, this pretty nice size inverse head and shoulders, we ask ourselves, in this current move, which right now is like 5% for Bitcoin, is it going to be sustainable? And we'll get a really quick sense of that with what kind of resistance we get at this inverse head and shoulders target. If we get resistance there, then you can better be sure we're probably going to get that dip back down to $7,400, $7,500 50 moving average to test that 50 moving average once again. That isn't a bad thing. I want to see Bitcoin test that 50 moving average, a bounce off of there, and then a bounce back up to 9,000 would be even more bullish in my opinion. I've talked about I'll be bullish on Bitcoin once we start getting higher highs and higher lows above this 50 moving average. And that's what that would look like in my opinion. So that's a very appropriate pattern to track right now because we're at the target right around 85, 8,600. The other thing is this, the busted head and shoulders, the larger head and shoulders. We had the left shoulder, the head. We had the right shoulder back down. We had this huge, you see this red neckline. And we talked about, well, we didn't break that neckline, right? So it wasn't a confirmed head and shoulders. That could have played out really bad going down into the 4,000s. We didn't break that. We bounced off of the neckline, came back up, right? And we started forming this inverse head and shoulders. But what we talked about was if this swing high on this right shoulder of this head and shoulders gets broken, we have a breakout target of like $10,000 plus, right? That's up here. And so that's in play right now. We broke this right shoulder swing high, and that was like $7,800, and we're continuing a move up. So we do have a busted head and shoulders in play with a target of 10,000 plus. All of these things I'm giving you, and I'm talking about these patterns, they take time to play out. I want to throw that out there. But that 10,000 plus target for that head and shoulders, that busted head and shoulders, a bullish move, that would play out really nice in a scenario where maybe we do get a resistance at this smaller inverse head and shoulders resistance, 8,600. We come back down maybe over the coming days to the 50 moving average down here. Then we get a bounce off of there, and we start seeing some higher highs and higher lows going up to $10,000 target. So I'm talking about a 10,000 plus target based on this head and shoulders, right? But please remember that these targets take days, weeks to play out. I'm not messing around here on like a 4-hour chart or like an hourly chart or a 5-minute chart or something. So it's a way different environment. And that's kind of where the patience comes in. Like when you're looking at a chart like this and you're seeing all the possibilities, can you sit tight and can you kind of manage your funds and your portfolio properly in a crazy environment like this, where it's like it'll move all of a sudden, but at the same time, it kind of feels like it takes forever for anything to happen, right? So that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. There's a lot going on, but right now at just a resistance area. It's very simple. $8,600 is a resistance area for Bitcoin. Let's see if we get momentum for breaking through that $8,000 or $8,600. So besides that, I'm going to briefly mention this. And I tweeted about this a little bit ago on Twitter. I also said, I keep getting this, and this was earlier tonight, 10:29 p.m. I keep getting this nagging feeling that I need to buy ETH. If you remember the other day, January 11th, I said I just bought some Digibyte. I did buy some Digibyte. And then the other day I also did a video. You can go check it out. I think it's the last video I did. Top 4 altcoins for 2020. Digibyte, Brave browser is what that is. Neo and Dash, basic attention token. So I want to throw this out there. I just want to, because I know there were some comments that I've been getting that people are like, dude, don't go outside of Bitcoin. Don't go outside of Bitcoin and Litecoin. I have spent a lot of time accumulating Bitcoin and Litecoin, right? Especially this last year. Just that's all I've really focused on. I really didn't think about any other altcoins. And I'm very happy with my portfolios, right? For Bitcoin and Litecoin. And there's one thing that's been on my mind, especially lately, and especially talking with, I talk with Rob D on Twitter, Poseidon Lou. I talk to these guys, and there's just one thing in my mind, it's altcoins. If you don't see the opportunity, if Bitcoin begins to thrive and the price goes crazy, if you don't see the opportunity in terms of altcoins for like some quick gains, then I don't know what you're looking at in terms of cryptocurrency. I'm here, and I've been very transparent about this. Like, I'm here to invest, make money, secure my future, right? I love the decentralized aspect of what Bitcoin is, what it stands for, what the technology is, right? But listen, I've spent my entire entrepreneurial life taking risks when I see opportunity. And so that's why I'm here. That's why I got into this game. I put most of my risk in Bitcoin because I believe in Bitcoin the most, but you better believe there's going to be altcoins that see way more gains than Bitcoin. I'm just going to tell you that right now. If you think Bitcoin is like the one that's going to see the most gains percentage-wise, it's not. I mean, it could happen. But I'm 90% sure that's not going to happen. So there's so much opportunity there if you have the risk tolerance, and I feel like I do. I have that risk tolerance. I don't spend more money than I can afford to lose. I work insanely hard all day, every day in growing my business so that I have the revenue to keep buying cryptocurrency. And that's just my own decision. So anyway, I'm just throwing that out there. Ethereum, so I tweeted Ethereum just because I'm looking at the chart and I'm just like, Ethereum is a solid project. I know people will probably dislike me for saying that. Some people will dislike this video. I don't care. It's got legs, and that's all I care about at the end of the day. I'm not going to sit here and say I care. All I care about is the tech. No, I care about if it has legs, if it has the volume, if it has the community, if it has the people, if it has the liquidity. I'm going to buy it, right? When it's cheap. Like, look at the chart from all-time highs. Am I the only one that sees that? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure a lot of you agree with me. There's only a few haters that tell me to only buy Bitcoin. But anyway, those are my thoughts on altcoins. There's so much opportunity there. And, find your own approach. This is just my approach. I do YouTube videos to kind of step away from my day, have some fun with it because it's just fun looking at the charts. It's fun buying cryptocurrency. It's fun when cryptocurrency goes up. It's actually fun when it goes down because then you're getting nice discounts and it's going to bounce. I mean, zoom out on any chart. It always bounces until that one fateful day. It'll just keep going down to zero, I guess. I don't know. We're all taking risk here, everybody, but I think everything looks good except for this very messy chart. And I want to do a quick video on Bitcoin and what's going on right now. Those are my thoughts. I'm not going to do a half-hour live stream. I stopped these long videos because it's just too much. But I wanted to hang out and say what's up to everybody. I see some chat going on. Appreciate you guys coming by late Monday night. Let's see if this continues. I love just going to bed and being like, I wonder what Bitcoin's going to look like tomorrow. I guess we will find out. And we will see. I see Poseidon Lou in here. I think I saw Rob D too. I do. The whole goal for most alts is to accumulate more BTC. Altcoins will run much harder than BTC. By the way, everybody, I want to say this. I don't think, I remember months ago, even when Litecoin was just going crazy. By the way, I'm long on Litecoin. I hope you all know that. Litecoin charts look really good. I mean, this is setting up to almost look like a beautiful, picture perfect reversal. If you look at Litecoin charts, breaking above this 50 moving average. The key again, just like Bitcoin will be, if it sees supports when we come back down, it's going to hit the 50 moving average again. The question is when. Right now, that's at $44. Will Litecoin see support? I mean, look at the reversal at the bottom of the bear market. Actually, it's perfect scenario, perfect illustration. Litecoin broke above the 50 moving average, came back down, and it was just seeing support. That's what we want to see on Bitcoin. That's what we want to see on Litecoin. It happens over and over again in a reversal. That's why the 50 moving average is our friend, and we just patiently wait to see what it does. But it is like this magnet that Bitcoin and Litecoin will continue to fall to. The biggest question, the biggest thing to watch for is what happens when we fall to that. If we bounce off of it and see support above it, that's a very good sign. That's what I'm looking for. And we'll see what happens. But timeline-wise, I don't think, a lot of people are accumulating altcoins. I think Bitcoin's going to dominate in 2020. Unless you're looking at Dash. Dash is just ridiculous right now. So when I'm talking about altcoins and I'm talking about the potential, I'm kind of in this accumulation zone. I'm kind of in this hodl zone where I'll keep buying and I'll keep buying dips for a while because I don't think they're really going to break all-time highs if they do again until 2021. So we've got some time, in my opinion. I don't think this is we're going into alt season. So my point was, I remember back when Litecoin was going crazy in summer, people were talking about alt season. And I was just like, are you kidding me? Alt season? It's not alt season. Bitcoin's not even in a bull market yet. So we have time. I think we should all slow down our minds, relax a little bit, take a chill pill, and have some patience. I'm talking to myself too, not just all of you. So appreciate everybody coming by. Hit that like button on the way out. Hit the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber. Let's see what happens tonight. We'll see what we wake up to tomorrow morning. I hope you have a great rest of the night. I will see you in the next video, and God bless.